Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, Chris Flaherty, and Robert Paris, Peter Brown with the weather, Gretchen Carey with the community calendar, and Anthony Matos with sports. Thank you for joining us. The Burlington Police Department is asking the public's help in identifying a man who allegedly engaged in lewd behavior at a retail location in mid-December. According to the police information website, massmostwanted.com, Burlington police are attempting to identify the male featured in the surveillance video, surveillance photo above. We're showing that, there we go, in connection to an indecent exposure report that took place at approximately 8 p.m. on December 14th at a Target located at 34 Cambridge Street. The victim described the suspect as a 20 to 29-year-old Middle Eastern man, approximately 5 feet 7 inches tall, wearing glasses and sporting a stud nose ring. He is further described as having a medium build and medium complexion. Police ask that if anyone recognizes the man or has information on similar incidents, to contact Officer Amanda Santos at 781-238-4681. If you're interested in getting involved in local government to make a difference in Burlington, now is the time to throw your hat in the ring. Nomination papers for the 2022 annual town election are now available in the town clerk's office at Town Hall. Nomination papers must be taken out by February 16 at 5 p.m. There are a number of open seats for either town meeting, town-wide representative, town meeting seats. Town-wide seats include a town moderator, 2 for select board, 2 for school committee, 1 for assessors, 2 library trustees, 2 on the planning board, 2 on the board of health, 1 for constable, 2 on the housing authority, and 2 on the recreation commission. There are also a number of town meeting seats that are open. This year things are a little different because re-precincting after the 2020 U.S. Census caused a number of incumbents to suddenly be placed in different precincts. All candidates for town-wide seats must collect 50 signatures from Burlington voters to be placed on the ballot. Anyone looking to run for town meeting must collect 10 signatures from voters in their precinct. The 2022 Burlington town election will be held on Saturday, April 9, and the polls will be located at Burlington High School. As with all town elections, the polls will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You'll also be able to get absentee ballots at Amy Warfield's office. Before the holidays, there was a gathering held at Town Hall in honor of 2 longtime town employees who worked in the town administrator's office, Office Manager Betty McDonough and Administrative Assistant Sandy Madigan. BNEWS Director Rich Hosford was there and has this look.
It was an evening of celebration, but also some bittersweet farewells when town officials and friends gathered to say goodbye to 2 longtime town employees from the administrator's office who were set to retire right before the holidays. Office Manager Betty McDonough and Administrative Assistant Sandy Madigan, who between them had roughly half a century with the town of Burlington, were saying farewell.
You know, it's a really happy day for me, but also a very sad day. We're losing 2 very long-time, very integral employees from the town administrator's office, Sandy Madigan, after her 19-year career, and Betty McDonough for her 28-year career with the town. Both of these employees have given their heart and soul to us, so we're very much happy to see them be able to enjoy their retirement, but at the same time, we're very sad that we're losing them and we're not going to be able to work with them every day. They've just done such a wonderful job for the residents over the years.
Select Board member Joe Morandi said that ever since he first joined the board 7 years ago, Betty had helped keep him informed and up to date on everything he needed to know.
I've been a Board of Selectmen member for the last 7 years. It's been great. But in the very beginning, Betty taught me some ropes that I've learned along the way. I can't say enough good things about Betty. She has been my go-to person for every question I need to have answered. She knows more about this town than most people do. So, Betty, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for the town of Burlington. You've been incredible. Can't thank you enough. So happy you're retiring. I hope you enjoy it. All the best. Thank you.
Select Board member Bob Hogan knew Betty better than many of the others before his retirement as Veterans Services Director, and she moved to the town administrator's office. They worked together in the Veterans Services office for many years.
She was the best at what she did there. It made me look good, made the office look good. So when it was time for a replacement in the selectman's office, it only made sense that that she be the one to come over here. She's organized, she's intelligent, she's committed, because she really is. The town is going to lose a good employee. And Sandy, too. Sandy has been a big part of what's going on here. And the last couple of years, she took over the responsibility and kind of created the position scheduling for the Grandview Farm. And she took that over and just perfected that. So she's going to be missed also by a lot of people.
From Burlington Town Hall, wishing both Betty and Sandy happy retirements, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
With the surge of new COVID-19 cases, which according to many experts is mostly due to the Omicron variant, many people are seeking to either schedule tests with healthcare providers or purchase at-home rapid tests. However, due to the demand, many stores are reportedly selling out of the rapid test shortly after deliveries arrive, and online retailers are showing delays in deliveries of up to 2 weeks. This is not a helpful situation for anyone who was a close contact over the holidays or after returning to work or school this past week. So what is the advice of experts? If you are a close contact with someone who has shown symptoms or is tested positive, we reached out to the Burlington Board of Health for guidance. Health Director Susan Luminello explained that if someone knows they have been exposed and they are unvaccinated or not fully vaccinated, then they should stay home for 5 days after exposure, followed by 5 days of strict mask wearing. If someone is fully vaccinated and has been exposed, then according to the CDC, they do not have to quarantine, Luminello said. Fully vaccinated means having had your second dose less than 6 months ago and longer than 2 weeks ago, or if you have had second dose more than 6 months ago, you also have had a booster. Despite not having to quarantine, Luminello did say that even fully vaccinated people should take precautions if they are exposed. If you do start to feel symptoms after an exposure and cannot get a test, Luminello said you should take that as if you are infected and not chalk it up to another illness. Finally, Board of Health Chair Ed Weiner urged residents to get vaccinated against the flu as well, because the symptoms of the flu can be similar to COVID, and if it is widespread in the community, it can further exacerbate the issues facing supplies and access to medical appointments. COVID's turning into an annuity for the pharmaceutical companies. That's an editorial comment, not news. Burlington resident and business owner Laura Sawyer Messing is the reigning 2021 Mrs. Massachusetts and spent over a week in Las Vegas going for the Mrs. America title. BNews reporter Tad Stefanak caught up with her after she returned home and files this report.
Las Vegas, Nevada recently held the Mrs. Massachusetts Strong State Pageant, and representing Massachusetts was Burlington business owner Laura Sawyer Messing.
We flew to Las Vegas, and it was a first-class experience all the way. The Westgate Resort in Las Vegas, they welcomed us with open arms and really treated every contestant like a queen. We had all of our rooms and dinners and meals were paid for, and everyone was just so kind to us while we were there. It was 10 days, and honestly, I don't think I realized it was going to be 10 days until after I won the state pageant. But it was 10 full days, and there were all kinds of activities. We did a photo shoot in the desert. We had dinner in the Elvis suite. Back in the day when the Westgate Resort was the Las Vegas Hilton, that's where Elvis had his residency. There's a whole just ornate suite, and it's where Barry Manilow stays now when he's in residency there. So we got to go in there and have dinner and take photos. It was really incredible. The actual competition at the national level, it was tough because it's not like you're with a bunch of people where some are prepared and some aren't. It was everyone was prepared, everyone was gorgeous, everyone was on. So basically on Wednesday of the week we were there, we had interviews. An interview is 50% of your score. And you basically go in and they ask you questions about your platform, about you, about your family, all kinds of things. And then after that is the stage portion of the competition. We had a state costume, part of the competition, which was great. And then, of course, swimsuit and evening gown. I feel like I did really well. I did not place in the top 15, but very stiff competition. I think, honestly, everyone there could have been in the top 15, but only 15 make it. And then from there, there's only, of course, one Mrs. America. But it was a great experience. I'm so glad I got to do it. And it was just remarkable in every way. I think everything went really great. I felt good about everything from my wardrobe to the friendships I made. I couldn't have asked for a better experience. And I got to meet a lot of people from Massachusetts there in the casino. So people would stop me and get their picture taken. And so it's probably as close as I'll ever be to being like a starlet, but it was it was wonderful and I had a lot of fun. If you would like me to make an appearance at your event, if there's any way I can help any organization in Burlington, I am still in my year of service for Mrs. Massachusetts and my reign will end in June. I am happy to come out to help, to volunteer, to do anything that anyone would like me to do. So all they have to do is get in touch with me and I'll be happy to show up.
With Laura Sawyer Messing, Mrs. Massachusetts, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak.
Just prior to the holiday rush, Boston Magazine highlighted Burlington as a town drawing folks from the city, saying Burlington continues to be an attractive living destination thanks to its suburban surroundings, employment offerings, and thriving recreational, retail, and restaurant scenes. The article touts Burlington's neighborhoods, its convenient vicinity to Boston, and the town's location among major roadways. Burlington also offers walkable areas like the town center, the mall, and the adjacent district, as well as 3rd Ave. Endearing to prospective residents is Burlington's Parks and Recreation Department, providing for several parks throughout the town and town-sponsored events. The Mill Pond Reservoir, Mary Cummings Park, and Landlocked Forest provide some of Burlington's inviting natural spaces. The article notes Burlington schools are well provided for, however, improvements are needed are in the works for some of the elementary buildings. The 16th annual Poetry Out Loud competition at Burlington High School wrapped up last month. The finals were held on December 20th in the Fogelberg Auditorium, in person for the first time in 2 years, giving students the full Poetry Out Loud experience once again. BNews reporter Chris Flaherty went to talk with the winner and faculty coordinator and has this look.
On December 20th, 2021, the 16th annual Poetry Out Loud finals were held in the Fogelberg Auditorium at Burlington High School. This was the first time in 2 years the finals were held in person.
Oh, it feels great. It's so much different when you have sort of a sense of community here. The videos were phenomenal and worked when we needed them to, but it's really much nicer to have students see their peers out in the audience rooting for them.
9 students competed in the finals, each reciting 2 poems of their choosing.
I thought they all did great. Each one of them showed a lot of courage and resilience. They chose poems that really spoke to them, and a lot of them chose them based on our school-wide essential question this year, which is how do we build a culture of empathy? I was really proud of all of them.
Senior Bella Gill was crowned this year's Poet Laureate.
I am so incredibly shocked right now. I did not think that this was going to happen, so I'm still kind of in shock right now. Both of my poems had the theme of sort of what's going on in the world, and I guess the chaos in the world and what humans have turned the world into, which is something that I'm really passionate about, just kind of like the world and how it's changing and how right now it's not in such a good state, but we have the power to make it better. I realized how much I've missed stuff like this. I'm so glad to be back.
Gill now prepares to move on to the state finals. With Poetry Out Loud now back in person, students can not only connect with the poetic arts, but also strengthen the bonds of the BHS community.
Poetry Out Loud is, in my opinion, huge for students. Certainly from a teacher's standpoint, it hits the 4 domains of language, speaking, listening, reading, writing. But I think more importantly, it is an opportunity for students to really feel connected to language, to see their peers do something that they know is hard, and to just sort of get a sense of we're all in this together, really feeling the words and joining in that community.
Until next time, this is Chris Flaherty for BNEWS Weekly.
A popular Burlington restaurant has started the new year with some big changes. Lindana announced on Facebook that they have begun transitioning the restaurant to the steakhouse brand Moo, and closed starting on January 1 to make necessary renovations. According to its website, Moo, which currently has a location on Boston's Beacon Hill, is a modern steakhouse. The menu for the Boston locations features steaks, including a $185 6-ounce Wagyu sirloin, seafood, salads, and other vegetable dishes, desserts, and more. Moo is owned by the same group, Burlington Hospitality LLC, as Londana, and the owners say they are committed to the same quality people expect from the existing restaurant. Londana, which opened in 2007, is located at 86 Cambridge Street. The owners said they expect to open Moo in early spring. In other restaurant news, a popular and quickly expanding fast food chain has set its sights on Burlington. That it said in a statement it will be occupying soon. Jersey Mike Subs announced it will be setting up shop at 50 Summit Drive off of Middlesex Turnpike, though it hasn't yet announced an exact opening date. The restaurant was first founded in 1956 in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey, as a single standalone location known as Mike Submarines. The franchise, as it is now known, started in 1975 by then 17-year-old Peter Cancro, who raised funds to purchase the existing neighborhood sandwich shop that was put up for sale after nearly 20 years of business. Cancros is still CEO of the company, which now has over 2,000 locations in the United States and 3 in Australia and 2 in Canada. Locally, there are locations in Bedford, Dedham, and Saugus. There are a total of 20 restaurants in Massachusetts. The restaurant features a variety of both hot and cold subs with a focus on making everything to order and using only fresh ingredients that are locally sourced when possible. Burlington is preparing for a couple of big celebrations. The Select Board recently discussed the creation of an anniversaries committee to prepare Burlington for making 225 years since incorporation in 1799, and the United States' 250th anniversary coming up in 2026. The committee is the suggestion of the town's historical commission member, and member Peter Coppola spoke about the need to organize early. He said they need to start early to seek grants and prepare for celebratory activities for both milestones. Other members agreed the committee was important, but decided to have a subcommittee meeting and other discussions first to figure out what the makeup of the new body would be. The board decided to take up the item for further discussion at the next meeting on January 10. Since we started today with a good amount of snow, we're sure weather is something on everyone's mind. For the latest forecast to see what's coming in the week ahead, we go now to BNEWS weatherman Peter Brown. We'll also check out the community calendar with Gretchen Carey to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days. Happy New Year to you all. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. And here we are heading into January, into the absolute heart of winter. And unfortunately, for those of us who enjoy the warm weather and the more spring-like temperatures, this is not going to be the forecast for you and I, unfortunately. It looks like we are really going to be into that January feel as we head in through the next 7 days. Now, starting at our period on Friday, we're going to see our temperatures at this time of the year should be in the upper 30s, and it's going to be cooler than that, actually fairly cooler than that. And we're also going to be seeing the chance of some snow coming in here to start our period on Friday. So a definite real January feel if you're stepping out and about in the Burlington area. And as we get towards the end of the period, in towards next Thursday, again, our average highs at this time of the year in the mid to upper 30s, and this is about as cold as it's supposed to get for our average temperatures at this time of the year. So we really only have one direction to go from here, and that is up. But we have some pretty cold conditions, especially as we head towards the middle portion of the week coming up. And by the time we get to next Thursday, we'll be seeing some moderating temperatures back to normal, but a real shot of winter coming up. The only thing that is good news, though, is our days are getting longer as we head in through the middle of winter. Now, as we go ahead, let's take a look at what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us here in the Burlington area in terms of temperatures and precipitation for the next 7 days. And again, looking at our temperature map, unfortunately, yes, we are expecting a good chance of below average temperatures for the next 7 to 10 days. That is certainly going to be reflected when we look at our 7-day forecast coming up. As we look at our precipitation chances, this is some good news at least. They're calling for us to have below average precipitation. So even though we may have a little bit of snow on Friday, it doesn't look like we're going to have really much of anything after that. So at least it's going to be fairly dry with the cold weather coming in. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up. And know, again, for those of you and for myself as well who love the warm weather, this is not a 7-day forecast that we like to see. And also for you snow lovers out there, they're really, even though you see a little bit of that snow in here on Friday and a little bit on Sunday, maybe a mix, there's really not going to be a lot. Each successive run of the GFS weather model, the American weather model, has this storm going further and further away from us in the Burlington area. So it looks like the heaviest axis of snow on Friday is going to be to the south and east of Boston. We may get away with a couple of inches, but again, those forecast runs keep changing. This could go down a little bit lower, but who knows, we could have as much as 6 inches if the storm gets closer. We could also have the possibility of having nothing if the storm moves out. So keep a handle on all of the weather forecasts from your local media, and let's just keep an eye that we may have some slick conditions out there on Friday. Now, as you get into the weekend, we're going to see some moderating temperatures briefly and a chance of some mixed rain and snow on Sunday, with temperatures going back up to around 40 again, but that's before a real cold shot of air starts to come in here on Monday night into Tuesday. Look at this on Tuesday. Our high temperatures aren't going to be making it out of the teens, and I think my overnight low temperatures are a bit generous. We're probably going to be seeing a couple of nights next week where we see temperatures at or below zero in the Burlington area, so a very chilly time coming ahead. Now, once we get past that, our temperatures are going to start to moderate again, back up to the mid-30s by the end of the week. And that's also going to, again, bring with it some sunny conditions, so nothing really out there much in terms of frozen precipitation after we get past this weekend. So everyone, bundle up, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
It's flu season. You're probably planning to get your kids their flu shots, but remember to get yours too. Vaccinating your family is the best way to protect you and your kids from the flu. Protect yourself. Protect your family. Get your flu shot today.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your community calendar. On January 15th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Stone Zoo will be celebrating their Black Bears, Smokey and Bubba's 16th birthday. To get tickets, go to the following website. Also on January 15th from 12 to 2 p.m., the Real School of Music will be having a winter open house. Check out their website at therealschoolofmusic.com. On January 16th at 11 a.m., the Made in Burlington store will be having an event for kids, Winter Arts and Crafts. To sign up, go to the following website.
The fall sports season is fully underway, and for all the latest Red Devil action, we now go to BNEWS Sports reporter Anthony Matos for this week's sports report.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Matos, and this is your weekly sports report, and Happy New Year. The winter season has hit high gear as the Devils continue their seasons. Girls and boys basketball had a few games during their winter break. Both teams took on Melrose Red Raiders on December 22nd, with the girls winning 35-32, while the boys finished their game with a 59-49 victory. Each team had another game the following week. The boys traveled to Tewksbury for the holiday tourney, where they had a matchup against the Chelmsford Lions. Burlington beat the Lions in a 60-50 win. The Lady Devils headed to Bedford to face the Buccaneers on the same day. Burlington fell to the Bucks 45-38. The Red Devils began the new year against the Reading Rockets on January 4th, where they took a loss 59-39 and boys 51-50. Girls dropped to 1-5 in the season and the boys to 4-2. Both teams will face Wakefield on January 6th. Out of this taping, the game is still to be played. Girls and boys ice hockey had games before the winter break as well. The Lady Devils took on the Lexington Minutemen on the 22nd, where they won 3-0. Burlington continued with two more games during the break against against Bedford and Marblehead. In the Bedford game, the girls won it 9-3 in the Marblehead matchup. They won 4-2. Currently, the girls are 3-2 and were supposed to head to Wayland on January 3rd. However, the match was postponed. Burlington Ice Hockey faced Bridgewater Raynham on December 23rd at the Ice Palace, where they fell to their opponent 4-2. The Red Devils headed to Wilmington to take on the Wildcats on January 3rd. Senior Ricky Shepard got the lone goal in the game after the 4-1 loss. Then both the girls and boys hosted the Stoneham Spartans on Wednesday, where they both suffered losses. The girls lost 4-3 in overtime, while the boys were shut out 3-0. The girls are 3-3 and the boys are 0-5. Girls will host Watertown on the 8th, and the boys will travel to Melrose on the 11th. Girls gymnastics started their season on January 4th, where they hosted Reading Memorial High School. The team fell to the Rockets 133-131. Burlington starts the season 0-1 and will head to Woburn to take on the Tanners on January 11th. Boys gymnastics had their annual alumni meet on December 23rd. BNews Sports reporter Robert Paris was there and has a look.
Past and present members of the boys gymnastics team came to compete as the annual alumni meet returned.
It's very exciting to have the alumni meet because it's the first meet of the season. You know, we have a judge come out and judge the kids for their first kind of unofficial meet. And, you know, they get official scores. It's good to see the alumni return because the kids can kind of pull inspiration from the guys who have already been there and have already done it and who are more casual competitors. And it just brings the whole atmosphere for those who are the first time competing. It kind of brings it down a little bit, makes it a little bit more relaxed, which is a good thing.
It was exciting to see the graduates come back after not having the special event last year due to COVID.
Being back for the alumni meet this year was definitely great. It was good seeing the kids, good to see what they were scoring this year, and it was very good to see that they beat the alumni. Actually, it's the third time in all history they ever beat the alumni.
It's definitely really good to see that we had such a big turnout to the men's gymnastics event, because I know it's definitely been tough getting people here different years, but even with everything going on, we had a really good turnout and a lot of familiar faces that I've been seeing for the last probably 6 years, and they've been here long before that.
Senior captain Nick Kim is glad to have a regular season, since last year was filled with uncertainty for the athletes' modified seasons.
COVID was a pretty tough year for everybody, I feel. Taught us all resilience. Not having an alumni meet last year was really impacting for the season, but I'm just grateful that we had the season anyways. I've known all these people for a very long time, and our hearts still stay very warm for them, right? They're the alumni, they're people we respect, right? They're like the old leaves that are giving their nutrients to us. Kind of all the information and skills that they learned, they're teaching us, and all the respect and all that stuff that's going in. So I just have a huge amount of respect for them.
With the season underway, Coach Marino and his athletes are continuing to stay vigilant against the ongoing pandemic.
The biggest takeaway this season is that the kids stay healthy. They stay clear of the virus, and their bodies stay healthy. We work with the progressions of everything, and they get better, they get stronger, they get more confident, and they have a good time. A lot of them have been cooped up for too long, so getting out and doing something physical and being very goal-oriented is super important for them and the adults.
From Burlington High School, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Sports.
The team will begin the regular season on January 7th, where they will host Lowell High School. As is taping, the meet is underway. Girls and boys indoor track had matchups against the Watertown Red Raiders on December 30th at the Boston University Track and Tennis Center. In the girls' meet, they won 69-27. In the boys' meet, they won 85-15. Currently, the girls moved to 2-1, and the boys are 3-0. Both teams will take on the Melrose Red Raiders on January 6th. As it is taping, the meet is still to be played. Boys swimming had a meet against Haverhill on December 22nd, where they lost 65-100 in the meet. Burlington drops to 0-3 in the season. Their meet against the Belmont Moderators on January 6th was postponed, and they'll have to wait another week to face their next opponent, the Redden Rockets, on January 13th. Boys wrestling had a meet against the Watertown Red Raiders on December 22nd, where they lost 39-42. They then headed to George Bossy Lowell Holiday Tournament on December 27th and 28th at the Saugus Arena. Burlington faced Lexington and Lowell Catholic during the tournament. The Burlington Red Devils won against Lowell Catholic 30-24 and tied against Lexington 36-36. They took on the Wilmington Wildcats on January 5th at BHS, where they lost 39-24. Burlington moves to 2-5-1 in the season and will face Winchester at BHS on January 8th. You can check out all the winter schedules at arbiterlive.com and type in Burlington High School. For more Red Devil action, go to the BNews Sports section at bcattv.org/sports and check out our Twitter page at BNews Sports. That's all for Weekly Sports Report. I'm Anthony Matos. Back to you guys in the studio.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo was a nice close-up of nature with a hint of what was to come as we head further into winter. It was sent in by Gwyn McNamee and features berries on a holly bush that she took in her backyard. There also appears to be some frost gracing the leaves. Of course, now the entire bush is likely completely covered in snow. Thanks for the photo, Gwen. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of your winter activities, a family trip, or just everyday moments. Whatever you think is interesting and want to share with us in the community. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. Okay, stay tuned for your weekly update from Burlington Public Schools with Dr. Eric Conti immediately following this news broadcast. And that's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Rich Hosford, Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris. Chris Flaherty, Peter Brown, Gretchen Carey, and Anthony Matos, thank you for joining us.